Hello, you absolute legends. My name is Karl, owner of the saddest channel on earth. So, I've been working on the Vernon video. It's nothing much, but it's coming out soon, so be ready for it when it came out. While I was working on that though, I've been thinking a bit about Lolcows and especially future Lolcows. People who aren't exactly the internet laughingstock right now, as they still have an audience, a positive reputation, and many displayed sponsorships lining up in their pockets. However, there are cracks that had started to form in a way that make it hard not to notice. In layman's term, these people are standing on thin ice here, like me. But we're not talking about me today, rather a pretty respectable gaming figure for many years that, in the past year, had his own reputation and credibility slowly eroded to the point that he's currently filing a lawsuit against notorious cheater Billy Mitchell in a case many are ready to see he loses. I'm of course talking about the albino failure known as Karl Jobst. Now, if I was any other YouTuber, I'd give a rundown on who this guy is, but honestly, you just need to watch the 2 videos about him and his lawsuit by Crispy Tavern instead. Or I could try to compress it down to 1 minute so you don't have to. So, Billy Mitchell, guy with world record on Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. He has many cheating allegations to his name, and he tends to sue people over it. Some he won, and some he lost. Especially the one against fucking Cartoon Network. Doesn't matter though, by then he was already a Lolcow and a half. The same cycle repeated with a YouTuber named Apollo Legend, though after settling out of court, Apollo would end up taking his own life in a completely unrelated situation. Karl Jobst, another person covering this dude's antics, aka A-logging him for like 47 videos, decided in his infinite wisdom to insinuate that Apollo had to pay Billy a lot of money. So much money that Apollo ended up in heavy debt, contributing to him committing suicide.
Also sued YouTuber Apollo Legend for $1 million. I haven't spoken about this publicly, but this lawsuit ultimately ended with Apollo giving in and settling with Mitchell. He was forced to remove all of his videos about Mitchell's cheating and paid him a large sum of money. This left him deeply in debt, which required him to find extra work. But with his ongoing health issues, this was all too much of a burden, and he ultimately took his own life. Not that Billy Mitchell would ever care though. In fact, when Billy Mitchell thought Apollo died earlier, he expressed joy at the thought. The lawsuit against Apollo was just as frivolous as the rest, and Apollo definitely would have won in court, but again, he was extremely ill and couldn't handle the ongoing stress.
That statement was the fight that Billy escalated to an entire lawsuit where Karl has to crowdfund like 200,000 Australian dollars. But no worries though, he was so confident he would win the lawsuit, while not claiming that it's not about the cheating but about Apollo Legend, that he was making plans for pretty much everything. Donating to charities, having sponsors for his result videos, even asking ChatGPT if he can win, and got the answer that he could. He was over cloud 9 that he would win this lawsuit. And then he lost. And he actually had to pay, so much that he legally declared bankruptcy like a month later. I think that was past the 2-minute mark, but whatever. Now, in order for Karl Jobst over here to be a Lolcow, he had to have a lot of mockable behavior that he really thought he was in the right in that one. And after the lawsuit, he would give us an entire Netflix special of funny ass jokes to cover. First, his past gets dug up. Not special, anyone in a lot of scrutiny tends to have a lot of dirt dug up about them. Now, this had caused some people to say that he's a neo-Nazi sympathizer, he's a crypto-fascist or something, but that's not comedy material. People are just gonna get mad. What's really embarrassing though is his previous pickup artist persona, showing off his amazing wrist like no other.
I just want to say that I think she's really, really cute.
What's a lot more funny though is him crashing out, spazzing out, chipping. Oh, okay, maybe not that far, but still just going sicko mode on everyone in the case, pushing the blame on the judge, his own lawyers, on Reddit, on mainstream media, while simultaneously making himself look as innocently as possible.
Then I said this was all too much of a burden, and he ultimately took his own life. I deliberately used words like and but to connect these events. I didn't use words like because or as a result of. I was also very careful to mention Apollo's pre-existing health issues as a major factor. When I said this was all too much, I was clearly referring to multiple things together. The debt, the extra work, and his health issues, all simply as existing, not as causative factors. I never stated that Mitchell's lawsuit caused or could have caused Apollo's death. Any connection someone might draw between the lawsuit and Apollo's passing goes beyond what I actually said. I was extremely careful, though obviously not careful enough, not to make that claim, because I know the difference between describing a sequence of events and assigning blame for a tragedy. I did, however, get one statement of fact wrong. wrong. And trust me, I learned that lesson immediately.
40-year-old grown-ass man really thought he could just dodge the potential scam allegation by just giving himself as many excuses as possible. Oh, he's like, oh, but I didn't lie about what the lawsuit was about.
People are upset and angry with me as they believe I have misled them and lied to them about the nature of the lawsuit. I never said that Billy Mitchell sued me for cheating. I haven't led anyone to believe anything. I've said that I'm being sued for defamation, but I've never talked about the specifics of the lawsuit. If the lawsuit was apparently just about my claim about the Apollo Legend settlement, then why did many people believe that it was about allegations of cheating?
Yeah, bitch, you didn't. You know what else you didn't do? Spread the truth. Spread what you actually got sued about. Be transparent. This is a classic trait, a core DNA of a Lolcow, the inability to take criticism. They won't admit everything that they did, rather just some or even none of it in some cases.
I have done absolutely nothing wrong. I got one little detail wrong. I did, however, get one statement of fact wrong.
Most of the time reflecting back at the critics or some other random factor to make themselves look better. But it never works. People can see right through you and they will call it out. You're not getting out of this so easily, buddy. Keep this in mind. Nobody was signing with him with his stupid defamatory claim. Not Nachi's lawyer that directly told him to pipe down. Not his own lawyers. They had to pretend this clear-cut defamation was not nearly as bad as Billy's alleged cheating. Clearly not the judge and jury. Not Killer Keemstar whom Karl reached out to. Not even Apollo's own family who literally made a comment clarifying he never paid Bailey jack shit. Literally the only one spreading this utter nonsense is him and his stupid lackeys that is too stupid to know any better. He actually removed that statement, by the way, when Keemstar told him, hey man, maybe you don't want to include that shit like ever. But then in another stroke of genius, probably provided by those girls whom we picked up, he decided to add it back after Billy's lawyers reached out.
Trustworthy, and I assumed it was completely bogus and an attempt to silence me, just like all of his other actions. A couple of days after I received Billy's concerns notice regarding Apollo Legend, I re-edited my video to add back in my claims regarding the settlement. Again, I believed them to be true.
And then he tried to retract that statement in like a 15-second section in a completely unrelated video. Another lightning in the bottle moment right there. This is another classic Lolcow behavior of doubling down the dumbest shit imaginable, willing to die on a hill nobody else wanted to for some unknown reason. For someone who constantly makes fun of Billy for something that happened decades ago, he doesn't seem to understand that by not letting go of his own dumbass statements, he is slowly becoming no less of a Lolcow himself. Except this time, it's gonna be a lot more brutal. Because now you're crashing out and talking shit endlessly on Discord, while Billy's out here shilling his hot sauce and collaborating with Kino Casino and saying some America rah rah rah. Buddy, you look like you're 80 and you're only 61 this year. I'm surprised Mr. Mitchell ain't playing Pac-Man at Trump's Freedom 250 event because frankly, that's gonna go well with the Total Watch Club over there. Anyways, the crash out continued for a couple more months, furthering the endless scrutiny he brought on himself, like, this guy was never a journalist, despite claiming to be an investigative journalist or a speedrun journalist.
So I would just describe myself as a speedrunning journalist who does sort of more produced in-depth sort of documentaries on world record histories and speedrunning in general. And I'm also interested in just gaming in general as well. So I also investigate gaming achievements or gaming history and then create produce videos explaining important details.
Here's him being interviewed by Bia Hodge. He's studying IT and psychology, but no journalism at any point in time. Here's him working at a chicken factory. Here's him going door-to-door salesman. Here's him working in the mobile stores. Here's him being a dating coach. We would know.
Sorry, I don't want to bother you guys. I just want to say I think you are really, really cute.
The word journal have only been said once by Bia Hodge, and pretty much nowhere else, not even by Karl. So like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, is he a journalist? Is he not?
He was even more incompetent than we thought, got led by some girl who wanted to bounce on Billy's dick. By the way, Ursat Katz, aka Cat Despera, has to be one of the most evil person in this whole situation, as in Billy Mitchell's slander's strongest soldier. I might have to make a video on her. She seems to have her own rabbit hole attached to her name. Further deception of his own audience, potentially committing a good old GoFundMe scam for his $1 million house. He had never once refunded any one of his backers, something ironically Apollo Legend did despite being heavily in debt. It's me that's the one making Billy's famous.
around, and I'm the only thing keeping him relevant.
Another Billy Mitchell video, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one.
I am the Billy Mitchell guy.
Oh really? You sure this attention doesn't go both ways, dude? And after this, he started laying out his planned bankruptcy. Oversharing is another core Lolcow trait, he should have never mentioned this, where he would transfer his ownership of his $1 million house and his YouTube channel to his wife, and therefore, he only had to pay $250,000 or something. And then he's like, oh, but Billy cheated on his first wife. Oh, but he's living in his current wife's house. Oh, but he had to have paid all the money. So therefore, he is actually the one that lost everything. Karl Jobst is a pussy. There is no way around it. Oh, but when I went to bankruptcy and lived in my wife's house, that's deliberate. But when Billy did the same thing, he's actually poor. Like, shut the fuck up. Sure, you only had to pay $250,000 to Billy, but what about those 5,000 bikers that helped you with the lawsuit? Did they ever get a refund or something? Did you ever acknowledge what their contribution has done to you? Is there ever gonna be a day when you pay them back in full? What about those donations Notch gave to you? Did you ever pay those back? Stop being a fucking coward and answer those questions, you dumbass fucking bitch. Sell that $1 million house and give back to the people that trusted you, you lying con man. This also bled into another situation he was covering as well, regarding Gerard of the completionist fame. Apparently this dude has been embezzling money from his own charity. Base move, celebrities in my country do that all the time. I didn't really watch much of this drama unfold as I have next to no interest in this story, although I've seen some people talk about how Karl portrayed Gerard's family in a disgusting manner. Though the only thing disgusting here is Gerard's own beard. Like, no offense, but like, shave it. Please. You look like a fucking gnome, man. To be honest, this whole thing is basically just twee frauds pointing fingers at each other, and it doesn't really matter who wins or lost. I just kinda hope all of them secretly suffered in the end. Anyways, the situation damaged the completionist reputation more than anything, so Karl, you get a point. Even when other people under your tweets was telling you to stop, you still did it. And unlike the 17 other time when that did not turn out well, this one did. Good job. Unfortunately, all of that somewhat respect that he earned from the whole completionist thing went instantly out the window comes the new year, as he decided to crash out on the r/Dream was taken to subreddit regarding his comment on whether or not Dream was cheating in Minecraft Manhunt. What's so funny to me is that, one, why the fuck are you on this subreddit? Barely anyone uses that sub anymore. Dream as a YouTuber had never been less relevant, so who cares if you say some dumb shit or whatever? Just move on. But two, and more importantly, he decided under the threat of the original exposal to constantly respond and reply to all of these comments that he should just never reply in the first place. Keep in mind, 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he's out here just doing bullshit in the reply. Here are some excerpts that I'm gonna read out to you. I did talk to him. I spoke to him for 2 hours. It's highlighted in the video. Unfortunately, everything you said in your post is a lie, and it's even more unfortunately that people believe you with zero evidence. I don't exactly think you're much better here, dude. Edited because it was too aggressive. What the fuck is the original version? The next time you're upset about something or having an emotional moment, I will make sure to spread it around the internet as much as possible, because naturally, when people are emotional, the best thing you should do is share it with as many people as you can. But as many as are? He's typing it wrong? It's a good philosophy and I agree with you on that. Well done. Ah, wow, he just learned that he should be careful with his words. Crazy. I'm sorry I don't believe anything you say. I would genuinely be interested in hearing what Dream has to say, and I'll probably have to ask him myself. I'm sorry I don't believe anything you say. I would genuinely be interested in hearing what Dream has to say, but I'll probably have to ask him myself, as you refuse to provide any sources whatsoever and get basic facts wrong. Okay, so do you. F up, how? I already said I don't form proper conclusions without putting in a lot of work. It's Redditors that insert some bullshit narrative to claim to know what I do and don't think about some Discord messages. I guess you did learn from the whole Apollo Legends situation, huh? This is another thing this guy really likes to do, by the way. Just like how he tends to punch up a lot, i.e. Billy Mitchell, Badaboon Dream, he also tends to punch down from time to time as well. One Karl Jobst chronicle that I see largely overlooked fact is his feud with YouTuber Luz, a much smaller YouTuber at only 50,000 subs. Luz used to be one of Jobs' strongest soldier. He tried his absolute hardest, just begging, groveling at his feet for Billy to give mercy to Karl Jobst and his pitiful family with their $1 million house.
You'll be defined by giving mercy where no mercy was applied to you. Mercy is sainthood, and that's how I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to talk about mercy. Karl would not have shown you a shred of mercy.
Until, of course, he got fucked over just like literally anyone else who had ever supported Karl in the first place when Karl lost. So, following this, he went on to uncover all the things Karl was silent about. And instead of acknowledging his own wrongdoing and move on, Karl threatens to remove Luz's channel.
Has threatened to delete this channel. I will report him to YouTube. So he's talking about me. I will speak with my YouTube partner. So if my channel is deleted, I will sue you, Karl. I will take my ass to Australia and I will sue you. He's going to report this channel and delete this channel because he is offended.
My feelings don't care about your fact.
And you are trying to take down my entire channel, Karl. Karl has become what he hated most, but even worse than that, he is going to sue me for defamation. A man who has done far, far worse. He is claiming targeted harassment because he doesn't like my videos. Is going to report me for harassment to YouTube when all I have been doing is covering him as neutral as possible. I'm trying to be as neutral as I can. And that being said, obviously I think Karl's going to win.
Bad Karl Jobst, -1 point for you. Anyways, all of this clowning I did so far had been a lot. Though compared to what's about to happen next, I don't think clowning on Karl here will ever be enough. Because on April 9, 2026, 1 year and 8 days from the final verdict that Billy was the winner, Karl Jobst officially sued Billy Mitchell for defamation, unauthorized use of his likeness, and intentional infliction of emotional damages in a pro se case. So Karl here is just going solo. The jokes write themselves faster than usual. It instantly told everyone that he is an insecure little loser who couldn't bear any else. Though frankly, that's gonna be the nicest thing I will say about this lawsuit, as everything laid out after this is way more embarrassing. First, because this is pro se, he had to write the documents himself, and it shows. Missing pages, random typos, and just in general a badly put together set of claims makes for an incredibly funny ass lawsuit to sit through. There are 7 claims he made in regards to this lawsuit, and they are all on some very shaky ground. Intentional infliction of emotional damages, basically just Billy making fun of him, which of course he would following the previous lawsuit. Mitchell's conduct, taken as a whole, was extreme and outrageous and exceeded all bounds of decency. You sure about that, Karl? That one image of you hanging on a tree? Unauthorized appropriation of name or likeness. So basically, use discount codes Jobst, Karl Laws, or Karl Blobs for 20 to 30% off at rickysauce.com. I repeat, use this defamation. Billy was talking some shit about how Karl was potentially doing some bankruptcy fraud, deception with his GoFundMe, and not his donation. His claim include this tweet, which included a now deleted Reddit post where they alleged that Karl was doing bankruptcy fraud, which is really funny considering it's not Billy that said it, rather some Redditor that started this. Both men have shared damning allegations based on random Redditors before. The difference is that Karl stated as a fact, but Billy stated as nothing more than speculation. It did promoted it, though he never was the one to actually agree and even defended this take. So realistically, he should have just sued that Redditor instead, which is why the post is now deleted. But suing Billy over it? Really? Also, I found this tweet to be really fucking funny. Like, yeah, that's already not true, but why is the screenshot quality so bad? Now, before we go any further, what I've covered together here is not my finding, so much as I'm just taking the work from other people that is a lot more involved in covering this case. I'm not a journalist, a lawyer, or even a Kiwi Farms user. I'm the owner of the saddest channel on earth, a channel I actually own and not my wife, whom I met on Discord. Anyways, his first motion instantly got dismissed because he legit tried to file the entire case electronically, but the judges said, nah, pro se people, go out and fucking beg on the streets and do whatever beggars doing out there. I don't know, picking up girls, playing guitars, fix phones, collect eggs or whatever. You better pay up and send those goddamn files by a real mail like a real man. And in response, he's just like, oh no, please, I need to send all my shit online, bro. I can't even pay for my mails. Isn't paying for postage cost like less than $1,000? You such a broke boy, you can't even pay that much, bro? Well, guess we just need another GoFundMe donation for your post stage. Anyways, in the newest development of the case, Billy has sent out a request for $80,000 security bond and for the whole case to be dismissed by prejudice. It's basically Billy's daughter, the one currently representing her father in this case, putting Karl in a chokehold where he either had to cup out fresh money to keep the suit going or everything would be thrown out. Sorry, Karl, turns out you can't just sue people without paying a little bit of that cash, you know? Also love how you claim Billy's daughter is your colleague. Classy. Also, I just realized something. William James Mitchell? This guy's name is William? I thought his name is Billy. What the fuck? You lied to me. Nah, we're not done with this. I'm gonna sue you for lying to me about your name, you stupid fuck. Side note, man, I just love Ursat Cat's coverage of this whole lawsuit. If you have just heard from their coverage and literally no one else, you'd think Jobst is already on his path to victory and not to his biggest downfall yet. There are crazy things happening in the Karl Jobst versus Billy Mitchell in Florida. Billy assigned his own daughter Michelle as his attorney. She filed 2 garbage emotions which smell of AI, and now it looks like Michelle Mitchell has been terminated by her firm. Oh, that's interesting. You know who else also used Gen AI network? Cops! Karl Jobst! By the way, I find it really funny that she's like Antifa top general and the one she's defending is a neo-Nazi sympathizer. Irony at its finest. Anyways, there's a reason why Karl has remained complete radio silent when it comes to this lawsuit. As he knows the moment he opened his mouth, the comments is just gonna be, use discount code Jobst, Karl lost, or Karl loves for 20 to 30% off at RickySons.com. Okay, I'm tired. This joke is really tiring now. It just really showed how butthurt, bitchy, and broken this guy is. People were speculating why he would do this utter nonsense in the first place. Like, is it his fractured ego? Is he not vibing with the verdict and still think he should win or something? Is this guy actually serious? But honestly, all I care about at this point is how this guy is slowly becoming a fucking Lolcow. Just another infamous figure for everyone to farm content like the content generator he is. I mean, he certainly has a lot of the genes with him, alright? He is deeply insecure, having to cling on to his fake profession of investigative journalist to make himself sound smart and credible like he's Pirate Software or some ordinary gamer, except he's somehow even worse. Pirate Software actually worked at Blizzard for 7 years as a security expert, and Mutahar had at least learned 1 course in computer science like 10 years ago. Karl was not, is not, and probably never will be for the foreseeable future a journalist ever. He's obsessed with conmens and liars to the point that he had to make 20 videos on them because deep down he knows that he is no better. Kind of like Anthony Lolcow.
You know what Saddam Hussein did in the Gulf War would be small potatoes compared to what Chris has done.
He responds to criticism poorly just like all Lolcows do, pushing away all the people that actually cares about him, burning all the bridges with people with actual good intentions, and leaving behind only the yes men, trolls, and instigators that only make the situation a lot worse. He doubled down multiple times in the face of destruction and bankruptcy, justifying it with a fixed sense of justice for his friend, which he had never actually cared about in the first place. He really thought just because he covered the worst cheaters out there, he could just say whatever about them with literally no consequence. Even to the point he suggested someone's death based on some random redditor that to this day we still do not know the true identity of, or why that dude even came to that conclusion in the first place. And now he's using AI for his display sponsorship. Like, man, how the mighty have fallen. You know, for as much as Billy Mitchell is a Lolcow, he belongs in this category that knows that he is the internet laughingstock, and he's more than willing to live down that villain status if it means he gets more of his hot sauce sales or whatever. Karl Jobst is not the same though. Billy can see Karl as a Lolcow, but he is not one right now because he still pulls in decent viewerships and sponsors and all. I know many people still hold him in high regards, but me, personally, I can't. How dare he call himself a journalist, a job dedicated to telling the truth and intentionally lie, and multiple times of that. I get that it's easy to dunk on Lolcows. They literally give you enough material to make whole careers out of it. Hell, I'm doing it right now. But don't forget, these are real people that exist in the real world, not NPCs in a game for you to say whatever slander you want to. You were so comfortable dunking on these people, you never thought they would ever bite back, thinking that you could do no wrong. Well, guess what? That isn't so true anymore anymore, is it? Turns out, real journalists have real standards, real code of ethics that exists for a reason. Think twice before you donate to his house construction GoFundMe, because frankly, that money would better be reserved for something that actually matters, and not plop right inside the pocket of one of the biggest Lolcow in gaming history. Now guaranteed, Karl is already on his way to become one himself, so whether Karl wins or lost, that sentence is gonna hold true all the same. Anyways, we're gonna nip this shit in the bud because this is the saddest channel on earth. See y'all for when I reserve this energy for when I have to talk about Popo next.